GM everyone. I wanted to do a quick video here as I'm in the Shonen Junk community and lots of people come in asking about this process. So we've obviously done a full video, and please do have a look at that where it explains a bit more about the project itself. But I wanted to just talk about the DMCA process and specifically about how it's impacting Shonen Junk at the moment. So if you jump into the Twitter, this is a quick explanation. Just to start off, so we're going to go through what is the DMCA process, how is it affecting Shonen Junk, and credit to some of the people in the community. First thing I wanted to just touch on, I've been in a couple of Twitter spaces and they've talked about whether Shonen Junk is actually related to Crunchyroll at all. So there's been a bit of FUD about that. FUD being fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So there's been a little bit of FUD about that. So I just wanted to drop onto the Crunchyroll page where you can find out all about the $1.1 billion company that was sold to a company called Funimation, which is basically owned by Sony Pictures and Sony Music Entertainment. And I want to credit one of the founders, Kun Gao, who actually asked me to add a couple of bits to this process map. So I have. And just to also say the other person involved in this project as well is a gentleman called James Lin, who you can look him up on Twitter, look him up on LinkedIn. He's called Shinji. He was called Shinji on Crunchyroll, and he's called Shinji in the Shonen Junk Discord as well. So that's James Lin. He's fully doxed as part of the project, but I just wanted to, call that out a little bit and just address some of the questions that have come up. I'm very, very confident they are who they say they are. I'm aware of a number of people who are able to validate that, who I trust. So I just wanted to make that very clear. Obviously, Shinji only doxed a day or so before the mint, but just wanted that to be clear. Shinji is James Lin. Kun Gao is also in the Discord as well. And many thanks for what he pointed out. And hopefully I addressed some of that in the video. So going to try and make this really quick. Obviously, inspired by Gary V, big fan of Nifty Alpha, talking about project reviews, tips and tricks, information, and AMAs with projects. And hopefully in a short period of time, we'll have some people from the project who will be able to talk about this. But as we might touch on in a second, it's probably not the right time to be talking about too much detail about this process as it happens at the moment. So aims of these videos, as always, are to, help people come into the space to sort of make it easier for people, remove the bad actors, and shine a light on decent projects. So without too much further ado, I love this first slide of the Shonen Whitepaper. I'm not sure what it's called, but it basically sums up what Shonen Junk as a project is all about, which is about removing the studios, the production committees, the distributors, and directly connecting the creators and the fans. And creators get a really shitty end of the stick in terms of anime creation. They get paid very badly, they get treated very badly, and they get very heavily worked. And there's been some tragic stories of creators actually committing suicide. So, what Shonen is aiming to do is to create a Crunchyroll, but for Web3. So, how do we connect those creators and fans and make content based on this NFT project? So, DMCA process itself, we're going to go through that in a little bit more detail quickly. So you got the takedown notice overall, which has happened, and obviously that obligates the content provider, i.e. Opensea in this particular instance, to take down the content whilst the rest of the process is taken forward. The people that put the content up have the option to issue a counter notice. So that's Shonen Junk, and they will be doing that. And then what happens? So counter notice goes in. There's a period of 10 to 14 days. And the people who issue the takedown notice, either an agent or the people who believe there's a copyright infringement of their content, have to decide to either sue or not sue, as the case may be. And then if they don't sue within that 10 to 14 day period, then Opensea will reinstate the content. And if they do sue, then obviously that needs to go through the courts and be resolved. So I've updated this map. So I wanted to just take a moment to go through it. You might have seen this before, but so a company called Remove Your Media, who are agents on behalf of copyright owners, actually issued the takedown notice. What happens then is Opensea have brought down the content. The only option open to Opensea other than that was to either reject it as an invalid notice or to keep the content up and risk being sued themselves. So Opensea then forward on the notice to Shonen as the content creators in this space. So, you know, whatever the specific complaints are, that gets forwarded on to Shonen. Shonen have a decision to make. And in this particular case, they could accept it, in which case it just stays as it is, but 100% based on the AMA and the information the project's given, they will be issuing a counter notice to the service provider. So that goes to Opensea. They then need to forward that on to the copyright owner or agent. And then there's this 10 to 14 days guaranteed minimum waiting period. So for those of you sitting in the Discord 2 or 3 days after this has happened, asking for updates and where things have gone, that can't happen. It's going to take a minimum, an absolute minimum of 10 to 14 days before we know what happens next. And I also wouldn't expect Shonen or the team, Shonen Junk, the team, the project, the mods, everybody, to be able to tell you anything in this period. Stuff is going on, legal stuff, and there's no way there's going to be any updates until there can be updates. And the only point there can be updates is, I suppose, when we hit this next period. So the next important step in here is that the copyright owner needs to make a decision, not the agent necessarily, maybe it is the agent, but basically, fundamentally, it's the copyright owner really who has to decide, are they going to sue based on the counter notice, or are they going to just basically not challenge that counter notice? Here I've put the stats at 80-20 in terms of no, they don't sue as 80%. I'd actually think, to be honest, there's a big risk through suing. So the reason I've put this flag on this step, that's a risk point. That's saying there's a big risk. If they are going to pursue the legal route, they're going to need to lawyer up. They're going to need to spend some money. So I look at it like this. This isn't true of all projects, but I put 80-20 there as an estimation of the likelihood of each path. Personally, I think it's probably more like 95-5 or 99-1 even. But let's stick with 80-20. So if they go down the unlikely route, they lawyer up, they spend money, they get ready, they sue, and they issue that. If they don't, basically Opensea should put that collection back immediately. Opensea immediately. Yeah. Well, they should, in theory. But if they do sue, let's go down that path. And credit to Kun for saying, actually, there's a couple of bits missing here. So let's just go down that path. Obviously, there's a indeterminate length of time whilst we wait for a hearing. And then there's the legal proceedings themselves. So I've put another risk point on here because I think if you're the copyright owner, there's a big risk in here. If you do sue, you do go to court, then there's going to be a judgment. And who knows what that judgment is. I'm pretty confident in the team, the fact that they built a streaming platform and they sold it for 1.1 billion. I think they're probably sound here, but the bigger risk is for the content owner, stroke creator, stroke agent. If they do go to court, a judgment could be made, a precedent could be set, and who knows what happens then. That could weaken any copyright in the future. Could make Shonen take this down, but if I'm honest, even if that happened, I think whatever the issues were that were picked up, I'm pretty confident the project could address that in the art, given that they're dealing with so many original artists and things like that. Whatever the real issue is, do bear in mind as well, I don't think I said it in this video, but the takedown notice was very generic and not specific according to the team. So in court, that will all get played out, and a decision will be made. And effectively, there's two parts to that decision. I've literally put 50-50 here. You can make your own decisions as to what you think the chances are, but either the creator of this content, i.e. Shonen, wins, in which case Opensea would again immediately reactivate the collection. And the other option is that the alleged owner stroke agent wins that court case, in which case the material stays down and then Shonen need to make some corrective action to reissue the project, or it just stays down. But fundamentally, that's the process. I wanted to just isolate the process rather than the longer video, make quite a quick video, just go over that for you. So we're sitting somewhere around here at the moment. And we will have a 10 to 14 days wait to see what the next steps are. I don't anticipate anything being able to be said in the project until we reach this point. So that's the video. That's a quick video on the DMCA process. Do remember I've set the particular flows here based on this project. So obviously those will differ project to project, but in this particular project, I eagerly anticipate us hitting this point and getting some updates from the team. And I'm quite bullish we're going to be following this path and then seeing how quickly Opensea actually do put this challenge right. But I would just say in this particular case, don't believe Opensea had any option but to do what they did unless they wanted to take responsibility and therefore potentially be part of any legal suit. So if you like these videos, do hit subscribe, leave any comments, hit the bell if you want to get notified. Follow me on Twitter, Mr. Yellow 1899. Have a look at this project, do your own research. It's a good opportunity to buy. It is still available on Looks Rare and Rareable. So do have a look, and it is still minting as well. So there are links to various pieces of information. So the Shonen website, the Wikipedia page, and also a great resource that was given to me by a member of the Nifty Alpha community. So the more information on the actual DMCA process. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you on the next video.